By now you've probably heard the news about Alec Baldwin's charge on 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter. This has come after months of investigating an incident that occurred on the set of his upcoming film Rust. He fired a prop gun that was loaded with actual bullets, shooting and killing the film's cinematographer, Halyna Hutchins. His wife, Hilaria Baldwin, has spoken out about how these events have affected their lives. Join us as we present Alec Baldwin's wife speaks out amid his manslaughter charges. Alec and Hilaria. Alec Baldwin was first married to actress Kim Basinger from 1993 until 2002. In 2011, he began dating Hilaria Thomas, who worked as a yoga instructor in Manhattan. They were married a year later and now have 7 children together. She had her kids through a surrogate, which itself brought her some unwanted publicity, but she stood her ground and defended the decision. They have both had their fair share of controversies, but have stuck with each other and supported each other. Whether it was the 2011 incident, when Alec Baldwin apparently got upset with a flight attendant who told him to put his phone away, or Hilaria Baldwin being accused of impersonating a Spaniard when she all of a sudden switched to a Spanish accent in an interview, they haven't left each other's side just because of some bad publicity. Alec Baldwin, despite his many controversies, has remained one of our most successful actors. He has had lead and supporting roles in many great films like Beetlejuice, Married to the Mob, The Hunt for Red October, Glengarry Glen Ross, BlacKkKlansman, and now the upcoming Western Rust. He's also had great roles in TV, most notably in the hit sitcom 30 Rock. He's considered one of the most versatile actors of his generation. Hilaria Baldwin has focused mainly on being a yoga instructor and has dedicated her time to her family. She does have 2 acting experiences, one in which she plays a yoga instructor in a film called Blind, which starred her husband. She also played herself in 1 episode of the TV show Nightcap. Due to Alec's continuous success as an actor, he has worked consistently, barely taking any breaks in his career. According to IMDb, he has 8 other upcoming projects in addition to Rust. He's won 3 Primetime Emmy Awards, 3 Golden Globes, and 8 Screen Actors Guild Awards. He's a busy actor, and one would expect this to continue, but we don't know what will happen if he's convicted of the recent involuntary manslaughter charges. Halyna Hutchins. Halyna Hutchins was born April 10, 1979, in a small village called Horodets in Ukraine, then part of the Soviet Union. She grew up in Murmansk, a port city in northwest Russia. She grew up on a Soviet military base as her father served in the Navy. She graduated with a degree in international journalism at Kyiv National University in Ukraine. She then began her career as an investigative journalist throughout Eastern Europe. She mostly worked in documentary films, and this was her initial experience working in the medium of cinema. This training as a journalist eventually led to her career as a cinematographer in America. While working in the U.S., she met Matthew Hutchins, and the two eventually married and had 1 son, Andros. She settled in the U.S., though she kept her Ukrainian citizenship and would visit her native country often. She and her family settled in L.A., where she worked to make it in the film industry. She had a variety of roles, working mostly in production, until she began her career as a cinematographer. At the time of her death, she had 32 credits to her name, including the upcoming film Rust and 2 other upcoming projects. She worked as a cinematographer on several short films, as well as the feature films Darling, Arch Enemy, Blind Fire, The Mad Hatter, and the TV miniseries A Love Tale. She served as a cinematographer for the scenes shot in Ireland for the upcoming film All Brand. She was also the cinematographer for the upcoming film Notes. It's expected that Rust will be the final film of hers to get released. She's remembered as a respected cinematographer and managed to start her career as soon as she moved to LA and worked relentlessly to rack up credits and master her craft. On the set of Rust. Rust is an upcoming film which began filming in 2021 and has a pending completion and release date. It's written and directed by Joel Souza and follows the story of a teenage boy who has to look after himself in Kansas in the late 1800s. The Western has an ensemble cast which also includes Alec Baldwin, who plays Harlan Rust, which is where the film gets its title. Audiences, critics, and colleagues were eager for the film to be completed to see how it would turn out. Writer and director Joel Souza has had a successful career making feature films, and his previous one was Crown Vic, which was interestingly produced by Alec Baldwin. Now, with Rust, Sousa was able to film Alec Baldwin in one of his most anticipated roles. Baldwin also produced the film and co-wrote the screenplay with Sousa. The news about the film was that production was underway in 2021 and that we would hopefully see a release in 2022 or 23. And for a while, it was just another project among the many films made in America each year. But then, in October 2021, Rust arguably became the most famous film still in production. In one scene, Alec Baldwin's character, Harlan Rust, is required to fire a gun. While shooting the scene, Alec took a prop gun from a holster and aimed it at the camera, as per the film's screenplay. He fired the prop gun, and then a projectile came out of the prop gun and hit cinematographer Halyna Hutchins, eventually killing her. This was on October 21st, 2021. The gunshot injured her as well as Joel Sousa. She was taken to the hospital but died later that day. Production halted and an investigation was underway as to why this prop gun had a bullet in it. Since the event, it was revealed that many safety precautions weren't taken on set, and crew members even complained about the lack of gun safety. Alec and some of the other crew members were sued by Halyna Hutchins' family. In January of 2023, Alec was charged on 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter, along with Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, the weapons specialist on set. First Assistant Director David Halls has pleaded guilty and convicted. Alec Baldwin's wife speaks out. Since the incident, Alec has once again fallen into controversy, but this one is naturally lasting much longer. The paparazzi has harassed him and his family, eager to sell stories of the incident. There have been conflicting opinions on whether Alec Baldwin should be held responsible for the gunshot or not. He intends to fight the case and has stated he didn't know the gun was loaded. His wife Hilaria has finally spoken out amidst his charges. She recently appeared on a podcast, Witches Anonymous, in which she thanked everyone who stood by Alec and has offered their support for the family. She stated, quote, "It's been an emotional time for my family, and I do so want to express to you how grateful I am for your support and your kindness and your reason." She's also asked the media to respect the family's privacy during this trying time. Alec's lawyer has stated he had no idea and wouldn't have known that the gun was loaded, and it wasn't his responsibility. So far, a court date hasn't been announced, so we'll have to see whether Alec will face criminal charges. In the meantime, production on Rust continues, and the film will perhaps be released later in 2023. There's also a documentary film about Halyna Hutchins' life and career in the works. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think an actor should be held responsible for checking a prop gun? Or is this the responsibility of the prop master at all times? Let us know in the comments section below.